We are scared of the power of the Spirit. We are nervous and tense. But the truth is that that first Pentecost Sunday, well, we celebrated Sunday. People were gathered in a room, packed into a house like sardines into a can. They were frightened, they were confused, they were anxious. And suddenly, in the midst of closed doors and windows, there was a wind that rushed through the house. Peter would later explain that the fire had somehow escaped the fireplace, and suddenly were bursts of fire everywhere in the building. Not burning anything, just lit. And suddenly, people could speak different languages. They could articulate proclamations of faith, one right after another in a new tongue. And it was loud enough that it gathered the neighbors and the people in the community. And as they opened the doors and windows and looked in, they came to the conclusion that Jesus' disciples were drunk, wasted out of their minds. There's no way this could be real. And Peter stands up and he proclaims that God's Holy Spirit has finally arrived. And in that, the church is born. Indeed, this is happy birthday to the church. The moment that the power of the Holy Spirit moved in and took over the limits of our mind and our consciousness. N.T. Wright says, don't underestimate the power of the imagery of Pentecost. Wind, fire, are unlimiting powers. That day you and I became church through the invitation of baptism, through the power of the Holy Spirit burning in us, to receive the sacrament through the Eucharist, and then to be able to share, bear witness to the faith with those that we love. To be able to share the good news of the gospel with those in need. The church was born into something exciting and new. But what happens after the party? What happens after the celebration? Does everybody go their own way and quietly and gently become, and I say this with the utmost of respect, Anglican? I don't want anybody to know that we're here. Shh. Don't tell anybody we're here. We don't want Woodstock to know we're here. We don't want Ontario to know we're here. We don't want Canada to know we're here. We don't want the United Nations to know we're here, and we sure don't want our politicians to know we're here. It might change something. If you stay quiet long enough, they'll just lock the doors. And nobody will ever know we're still here. Have I become absurd enough for you yet? Here is the reality. You want Woodstock to know you're here. You want the province to know you're here. You want the nation to know you're here. You want the United Nations to know you're here. You want the world to know you're here. And most importantly, you want them to know that you represent the power of the Holy Spirit and that you will not tolerate anything less than God's presence in all institutions, in all organizations, everywhere, forever. And the power of the Holy Spirit on that first Pentecost said, do not be afraid. Speak what you believe. Don't allow the rest of the world to tell you, shh. It became became a phenomenon. That it used to be that children should be seen and not heard, and now it's that anyone of faith should be seen and not heard. I, for one, believe that we need to fight that in love and grace and mercy, but to stand up with strength and conviction and be able to say, we will speak for what we know is right. For our children, for families, for the environment, for the culture, for the economy. And the church will not be silent, but instead will be prayerful and will speak on behalf of those who cannot speak on their own. We will speak for the poor. We will speak for the lowly. We will speak for the single mom who can't afford milk. We will speak for the abused. We will speak for those in need, and we will do so on the power of the Holy Spirit.